Hi, I'm Tamara and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I want to talk to you about the INFP and love. And I think INFPs love. Don't you think so? When I think of the INFP, what comes to my mind is warmth, caring, sincere, someone who makes you feel really cared about, looked out for, wanting you to feel comfortable, comforted, and happy. They're generally nice people. They can be inspiring. They can be go with the flow, very affirming and nurturing people when they're in a relationship with you. But they can take a strong stance when it's something that they personally believe strongly in. If you're dating an INFP, some of them can be shy and some of them can seem a little bit more like the ENFP, but not quite on that level, but somewhere in between. So you might want to give them a chance, but you might be drawn in by their graciousness. They're not going to be I'm all in your face kind of people. Some of them appear to be very introverted. They may be very quiet at times, maybe a little bit aloof even. So you kind of need to give them a little bit of time to warm up. Now, as far as conflict, this type really does not like an argument. I mean, they're gonna try to avoid it as much as they possibly can. It just doesn't feel good to them. It's something that they consistently try to avoid. However, if you keep pushing them, I have seen some INFPs like go from being very nice and mild-mannered to, hey, you know what? What's going on here? I don't appreciate that. Relationships are very emotional and involve a lot of deep energy that gets triggered. And so in that setting, in that state, you might see a different side of the INFP once you're very involved with them in a relationship and you start pushing their buttons, or they feel like you're mistreating them or you're taking advantage of their kindness, as though they are not necessarily pushovers, but because they can be mild-mannered, there might be a type that feels like, okay, I can just kind of go with the flow with getting my act together. Eventually, an INFP is going to get frustrated by that, probably, and start pushing you. Now, they can say it in a gentle, nice way that's very coaxing and very gently persuasive, but they can be direct in that gentle persuasiveness. If they are really pushed in a relationship, or let's say that they're having a cat fight over a guy, that might bring out an ugly side of them and really go in for the jugular and not care how you feel. So they can kind of put that little nice, gentle, conscientious piece of themselves aside. Now, maybe some INFPs have never had to tap into that side, but there are some that, depending on how you're raised or cultural values or whatever, that they've had to learn how to stand up for themselves, and that can also include romantic relationships. But like I said, most of the times they're going to be easygoing, go with the flow, gentle, easy to get along with, and I think a lot of types find that very appealing because they make you feel like they can be themselves. But I think INFPs have to be kind of careful, some of them, not to attract people who are not going anywhere in life or not living up to the expectations, or not having to rescue people, but maybe you're with someone who's in an industry that's really hard to conquer, and they're dibbing and dabbing in that for years, and then the INFP finally gets tired and says, okay, I've been patient, my patience are running out, let's get it together. Maybe there are some people who think that INFP may not have the strength to leave them, Some of them may struggle with that and some of them may not. I'll talk to you about that in just a second. As far as getting married and making a full commitment, I think INFPs are very much capable of that. I think they want a lifelong, lasting relationship usually, but it's gonna be a deep, caring relationship where the person feels listened to and understood, but they may not take commitment too lightly, and they may be careful and even a little bit slow to delve in there. And let's say you have an INFP who has been in a relationship or been married before. They might be hesitant, especially if the relationship went bad or they keep getting into these relationships that fizzle out or turn out to be no good. They can get into a place where they don't want to deal with that anymore. Separating things, dividing things, going through attorneys, lawyers. They can get to a point where they feel like it's not worth it to them anymore. They just don't want to deal. They don't want that commitment. They could have somebody that's really into them, really loves them, and they just can't go there anymore because of what they've been through. They feel like, I need my freedom, I need my space, and I like having some of that, and I will be fine alone. Now that's just, that's not all INFPs. Some of them probably always have a strong longing for the rest of their lives to always be in a relationship, but definitely don't take them for granted like they're gonna always be around just because they tend to be nice, caring, and patient people. I've seen situations where it's taken all their strength to break up with somebody, but it takes an enormous amount of strength to get over that person because maybe that person has mistreated them. It started off fun, it started off great, and now it's turned into a situation where, hey, you're not holding up your end of the bargain. They've been mistreated. It might take everything in them to get past that because they may be reliving those thoughts or those situations or picturing themselves going off or whatever. It might take them a lot of strength to heal from that person and to move on. But if it's a very strong romantic relationship, they could end up going in and out, back and forth with that relationship. Their patience and their kindness and their warmth, they can end up feeling very dissatisfied in a relationship. Or if they connect with somebody that that they feel a huge connection to, and that relationship just works, it can put them on cloud nine. It can make them feel very happy, like, hey, we can conquer the world. I'm gonna go out and help people. I feel very supported, and they deserve that, because they are nice people. As far as INFPs are with money, they can be better at it than what they think. If they are in a bind, they can probably figure out some creative strategies to manage their life and keep it going in the midst of it, whether it's saving money on food or whatever. They can do it. It definitely may not be at the forefront of their minds, and they may not care about it so much that it becomes stifling or hindering, or that they're controlled by it. If there's something that they really love and that they really want, or that they're really passionate about, or they just really like, then they're probably gonna go buy it. I've seen some INFPs who are very into fashion and how they look and having the latest iPhone and this and that, even, and then there are other people who could care less about all of that. As far as wanting to take the relationship to the next level and be married, I think they see the benefits of that, and they want to be close to that person that they're committed to, and they're gonna experience that relationship as intense and want to build on it and be kind and make it successful and work. Sometimes when it comes to having a good conversation with an INFP, they will let a more extroverted person take the lead. It kind of depends on that person's energy as well, but they can express themselves quite well when it comes to having a conversation with someone about things. Even if they are speaking with some shyness, they can usually express themselves and their thoughts and their feelings quite well and be romantic, even some of them, in their wording. They may be a little hesitant with like holding hands or that, you know, affection, but once they get comfortable, then they can really relish that and enjoy it. And they can be quite generous, I think, in a relationship with giving of themselves. And like I said, I think there are many types that will attract or draw the INFP in. They just need to make sure that they have their act together or get their act together, and not take their kindness for weakness, because that could catch up with them later in the relationship. But the INFP is gonna really make their mate feel important, feel very cared about. And as far as breakups, of course, no one likes a breakup. And even though you may be the same MBTi, there are still differences in people. And I've seen different people handle breakups different ways. I've seen people not be able to let go, to hold on to someone who they definitely need to let go of so that that person can grow and learn from their mistakes or have the room to grow, and they just can't seem to let that person go. And part of that is because of the idea, the dream, what they were holding for each other, the belief in themselves, the ideal dream that they had for the relationship's demise and it crumbling is a lot to bear and a lot to accept, because they're still looking at who this person could be. They can turn a relationship's demise into themselves, and what did I do wrong, and it must be because of me, and I wasn't as good as what I should have been. They can really take it out on themselves, but they need to pull back and really examine, okay, what was going on between us, and why isn't this relationship, why didn't the relationship work? I think we both may have played a role in the relationship's demise. Most INFPs at some point have a difficult time pulling away. It's definitely hard and it's hurtful for them. So I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about what it would be like to be in a relationship with an INFP and how they view relationships. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.